What's going on, everybody? Crypto Headquarters here, and today I want to bring you guys a video about why the price of Lisk has recently come crashing down since the rebranding conference in Berlin. So I'm going to be covering everything that went down in that conference, as well as outline some of the reason that Lisk was not able to hold above that $30 to $35 mark and why we've seen it come crashing down, as well as give some conservative and even some optimistic and bullish predictions going into 2018 and where I think Lisk could go in the future. So with that said, I'm going to start out with the disclaimer that says none of the information in this video is investment or financial advice. This is just simply my personal opinion. Please do your own research for investing. Invest at your own risk. Don't invest more than you can afford to lose, and consult a financial advisor if necessary. To be fully transparent with you guys, many of you guys have already known this because you've seen my other videos where I talk about Lisk, but I am invested into Lisk and do hold a sizable amount of Lisk in my portfolio. So I've been around Lisk for a while and I do currently hold it. So that's for transparency purposes. But with that said, let's jump right into the bulk of this video. Before I jump into what exactly was announced at the rebranding conference, I want to talk about the numbers behind Lisk and where we have been price-wise, because we're sitting at $20.07, a price that is a lot different from what we saw just about a week ago. So with a price of $20.07, as I said, Lisk holds a rank of 18th overall in terms of overall market cap and has a sizably pretty established market cap at just over $2 billion. So Lisk has not faltered so much in the idea of overall market cap. A lot of cryptocurrencies have seen a diminished market cap as of recently, and Lisk is no exception to that. But the thing about Lisk is Lisk was getting a lot of hype and a lot of price action due to this rebranding in a market where cryptocurrencies and altcoins specifically, as well as Bitcoin, have turned very bearish as of recently. Really ever since January going into February after that huge bull run, altcoins as well as Bitcoin, the whole market has turned very bearish. And when we have seen some green candlesticks here and there, the whole market really is trying to recover and get back into a bullish tone going into the spring, and hopefully we can do that. But the thing about Lisk that was interesting was, while a lot of altcoins were red or even just consolidating for a while, Lisk was getting a lot of traction, and that was due to the rebranding day, and that happened on February 20th. So 3 days before February 20th, we kind of saw the high for recently at $35.45, and that happened on the 17th. So 3 days before the conference went down, we actually hit the high. So what happened here was that people were buying the rumors and then they were expecting to sell the news. So this is something that happens all the time in cryptocurrency as well as other markets, where people realize there's a huge event coming where news is going to be announced and it's going to get people excited. So they buy and they stock up on said cryptocurrency, in this case Lisk. They knew this date was coming up on the 20th, and then as soon as the news is announced, they will begin selling off their shares because they believe that it kind of has hit an all-time high and the hype is at an all-time high. So once the news come out, people sell off if that's their intent, and the price crashes, at least for the short term, as people begin to sell that stuff off. So obviously we saw this happen before the actual rebranding date happened. So that is kind of interesting in that regard, that people said, oh wow, $35, that's pretty high, I'm gonna start taking some profit there. So that happened 3 days before the event, but nonetheless we did not fall too far from that $35 mark and continued to stay at $30 at least until February 20th. And then when we hit February 20th, we started to take a pretty big downturn in terms of price. So we are at $20, and it's really just been a downward trend since the rebranding launch. And it's not to say that the information or the news was anything bad that was announced here, or that it was underwhelming. I mean, obviously some people may have expected more or less depending on where your expectations were set. But basically, I think this was just a classic case of a very bearish market tone towards altcoins and cryptocurrencies, and you couple that with the fact that Lisk, this wasn't any revolutionary news, this was good news. Like, this was definitely news that was going to help move the platform forward, but at the same time understand that Lisk didn't announce anything that was absolutely revolutionary or monumental in this press conference here. So obviously a lot of hype, a lot of artificial hype built up for this, and not that it just couldn't perform in the aspect that people thought maybe $30, or even I made a video saying that $50 was possible, and that was obviously, I said, very, very optimistic there. But we obviously weren't able to sustain that. People sold off a lot of their Lisk shares and took a profit, as well as the overall market has taken a hit. So that's something that definitely shouldn't be understated either, that the entire cryptocurrency market has taken a hit, and Lisk is no exception to that. So that's kind of where Lisk has been price-wise. But now that we have an understanding of where Lisk was, where it's at now, some of the contributing factors to that, I want to jump over to what specifically was announced at this rebranding conference. What did Lisk specifically announce at their rebranding conference? Well, I'm going to be using an article over on newsbtc.com written by Martin J. Young, which was also actually published a day after the rebranding. So it just kind of summarizes everything, and it will be linked down in the description of the video below, just as everything I cover in my videos always are. But what they start out by saying is that a relaunch or rebrand usually does wonders for a cryptocurrency or blockchain project. This was no exception to Lisk, because we did see a pretty big price increase into the coming days before the event. But then again, the anticipation didn't exactly live up to the hype that people expected, and a lot of people sold off, and we saw that at the beginning of the video. Obviously, there was a lot of contributing factors to that just beyond the information that was announced here today, but again, that was covered earlier. So what did Lisk actually unveil? Well, a new series of product names were introduced by marketing lead Thomas Schutten. Hopefully I pronounced that right. These included the Lisk Core, which remained unchanged. JS and Liski, which were part of the sidechain development kit, were rebranded to Lisk Element and Lisk Commander. The app also became the Lisk Hub. Lisk Nano will be discontinued, and the Lisk Hub will take its place to act as a one-stop shop dashboard, combining the functionality from the wallet and the blockchain explorer. So the main thing to take away from this first section is just basically JS and Liski, which were part of the sidechain development kit, just got new names. They're now known as Lisk Element for JS and Lisk Commander for Liski. So new names there, as well as Lisk Nano is no longer a thing, and Lisk Hub is now the app, and it's going to take their place, or Nano's place, as the one-stop shop dashboard. So next, the presentation continued to show the basic workings and setup of the platform for the developers. A series of professional videos were then shown before a new website was unveiled to be launched this week. So we've not only got a new website that is part of this rebranding process, but we've also got a basic working and setup of the platform for the developers going into the future. So that's cool as well for everyone, not only at the event, but that was live streaming it as well. So that was an option. That's actually how I tuned in. So Jacob Kowalski, I definitely butchered that name, then introduced the Lisk Academy, which aims to educate on blockchain technology and instruct on how to implement blockchain into businesses. I think this is really cool just because the Lisk Academy is something that can definitely bridge the divide between businesses who want to get into blockchain but aren't exactly sure how. Obviously, Lisk wants to allow JavaScript developers to basically jump in and create these decentralized applications without a huge barrier to entry, and that's kind of the main goal going in here for the future, at least one of the goals for Lisk. But the fact that there is a Lisk Academy, which is going to really just explain how blockchain can not only be important to businesses, but how you can actually implement it to your specific one, I think is really cool as well. A technical panel explained Lisk Core 1.0.0, which will be a culmination of development efforts over the last few months. Its release will be a major backend milestone ahead of the rollout of the entire sidechain development kit. Finally, Kordek wrapped up summarizing the event and thanking the contributors and audience. So that is basically the Lisk rebranding event in Berlin in a nutshell. Obviously, this is some pretty cool information that was released here, and a lot of people showed up to this event. At the end of the day, while this information is cool, it certainly wasn't enough, at least in the people buying the Lisk cryptocurrency and coin, to raise the price a significant amount, as a lot of people were hoping, myself included. But this stuff certainly will be interesting to look at in the long term, because this is going to move the cryptocurrency Lisk forward. It certainly made me, if I was very, very bullish on Lisk before this announcement, I am extremely, extremely, extremely bullish on Lisk now, because this information it's just all awesome. It's great to see everything coming together for this cryptocurrency. I've been looking at Lisk for a long time now, and it's great to see that their vision actually is all coming together. So that's kind of the conference in a nutshell. I do want to touch on some additional things that happened, as well as give my price prediction to kind of end off the video. I want to head over to a website called stocksgazette.com, where they have an article over on Lisk written by Keel Thompson titled Lisk LSK, the clock is ticking for big news. So this is actually not going to have anything to do with the rebranding, although it is some pretty big news, or at least some interesting news that was announced before the rebranding. So though the rebranding is not the only news worthy a note, Lisk Foundations has managed to get listed on both Bitflyer and Huobi Pro in February, so 2 new exchanges for Lisk. Obviously, that's going to help with people who want to get in and trade the Lisk cryptocurrency, and the more the merrier there. That's definitely some cool news. In other news, Lisk forging pool GDT went all out to support the Lisk team with LSK tokens ahead on its rebranding day on the 20th. That's also pretty cool as well. Finally, what I think is the most, just the coolest information here on this page, as it's all pretty cool news going into the future, is Lisk Foundation has announced a Lisk magazine, a website that will contain all the information and updates on the platform, and a new team. So this Lisk magazine is going to be interesting because it's going to allow anybody, people who are invested, people who are looking at Lisk, just kind of that insight into the development, as well as information updates on the platform going forward. But the new team, Lisk Ascend, is a new delegate team of developers, marketers, etc., seeking to apply their diverse skills to make consistent and substantial contributions to the Lisk ecosystem. So that's cool as well. Definitely interested in to see how this Lisk Ascend team comes together and what they actually contribute to the Lisk ecosystem. That's going to be cool, but the Lisk magazine is just something that I've been looking forward to because I'm looking for consistent updates for Lisk, and I think that this is going to allow me to do so without doing the amount of research that it takes to, put together some of these videos, as well as just looking at the Twitter account and keeping up to date. So some cool information there that I did want to point out to you guys that wasn't stated in the rebranding. It was some news that came out before, but nonetheless, very cool, very important, awesome stuff to see. And it's just great to see that everything about the Lisk platform, team, and project, just everything coming together, as I've been following it for a long time. So their vision coming together, again, is just great. So I'm going to stop rambling here and I'm going to go into my price prediction. Now I want to get to the price prediction in the last section of today's video. So I'm going to try to make this as short and sweet for you guys, as there's really nothing I want to say in this video that I haven't said in some way, shape, or form in the past or in some other video. But with that said, I want to start out by saying that I do hold Lisk, I do invest in Lisk. So even though I'm trying to look at this objectively as I possibly can, understand that by me holding Lisk, there is some bias there because I want this cryptocurrency to be successful. Otherwise, I wouldn't be invested into it. But, going into the rebranding day, obviously, I didn't know what specifically they were going to announce. I realized the schedule was out there, but they could have honestly dropped a bombshell in cryptocurrency that could have propelled Lisk to $50. Hence the reason I made the last video, and I explained all of that and my thoughts and predictions in that video. So check that out if you're more interested in that. But really, that didn't happen, and that's kind of what I expected. I didn't think that we would see 20. I thought we would maybe see $25 to $27, potentially even 30, and we did for a while. But obviously the cryptocurrency market kind of took a turn for the worse, which could have been also a pretty big contributor going into the future, or excuse me, going into this point as well. But the main reason that I'm staying bullish on Lisk is for a few reasons. Not only have I been following this cryptocurrency for a while, I've seen them get more team members, I've seen them get a new office, I follow them on their subreddit, I've done a lot of research into Lisk, as well as I have been a investor for a decent amount of time. And with that said, I've seen them not only deliver on their roadmaps, but I've seen them do some things in regards to just silencing some of the criticisms that have come their way. And while a lot of them have been valid, I've only seen the Lisk team move forward. I've seen them recover from what, in my opinion, was an abysmal initial conference in November. I mean, there was a lot of flack the Lisk team got from over on the Lisk subreddit from people that are invested or very optimistic and bullish on the cryptocurrency. Even they had a lot of choice words to say for the Lisk team, and I've seen them rebound from that and even hit some numbers that a lot of people didn't think was possible. So with that said, I've not only seen the persistence and just development from a great team in Lisk, but I've also seen a project that has a legitimate product as well as a legitimate future in blockchain and cryptocurrency. The announcement of the Lisk Academy, in my opinion, was absolutely huge, as well as to show that they have some legitimate development to show for the past few months, and what they've been doing is it's really great to see. That's really all there is to say about that. But as far as my price prediction goes for Lisk, I think the next stop is $40 to $50. I think at that point we're going to see a bit of a sell-off and a little bit of a consolidation around there. I think Lisk is going to see a pretty big 2018 as well as a 2019. Obviously, there have been a lot of predictions. The big numbers. When are we going to see a $100 Lisk? Well, I think that could happen in the next year to year and a half, as long as cryptocurrency, the market, keeps growing. I don't want to make any outlandish predictions in this video. The last video I made, obviously, I did explain why I thought $50 was possible. And at the same time, in this video, I just do want to say that, I think $20 to $25 is a realistic, short-term kind of prediction for where Lisk is going to rebound into. As far as $40 to $50, give it a few months, give it a while for the market to recover, give it a while for money to keep flowing back into cryptocurrency. When we get to that $1 trillion overall market cap in terms of money coming in. But Really just understand that just like every other cryptocurrency in the market, we're going to need to give Lisk time to mature and develop. I don't make these price prediction videos with the thoughts in mind. When I say in the short term, I'm talking like 3 to 4 months. I mean, that might be long term for a lot of you guys, but if we give Lisk the time I think it needs to, not only come out with new platforms, new developments within the platform, as well as some new news to come out, as well as give the overall market to recover. Because honestly, if you guys can understand that cryptocurrency is so much more than the news that comes out for a platform or the cryptocurrency itself, it has to do with so many other contributing factors. You're on your way to understanding where we can expect prices to go in the future. So hopefully everything goes well. I think that in the short term, we could see that $40 to $50. I don't want to make any outlandish predictions, as I mentioned earlier in this price prediction, but at the end of the day, $40 to $50. Potentially in the next year to year and a half, we could see a $100 Lisk, maybe sooner rather than later. It really just depends on how much money is flowing into cryptocurrency when we hit that $1 trillion overall market cap in terms of all the money in cryptocurrency, as well as, is Lisk going to see any potential competitors that are going to vie for its spot? Is Lisk going to separate itself? So, maybe it is a top 5 cryptocurrency in 2018, 2019 instead of top 20. Well, all of that stuff has yet to be seen, but I do expect a very bright future for Lisk, only because of all the things I mentioned earlier in this price prediction, and as well as I am optimistic in everything that they have to do. So hopefully, I hope the best for Lisk, and hopefully you guys can learn something from this price prediction, as this is not investment or financial advice. This is just my personal opinion. Understand, I am invested in a Lisk, so I do have a bit of a bias there. So thank you guys for watching this section of the video, and I'm going to cut to the outro. That's going to do it for the video today, guys. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Comment down below if you guys have any questions, want to talk cryptocurrency, or if you guys have any video suggestions going in the future, or really anything at all, comment down below. With that said, hopefully you guys found some value in today's video. I wanted to cover what the current situation with the price of Lisk is, what was announced at the rebranding, give my current thoughts, opinions, analysis, all of that kind of stuff, and it ended off with a realistic price prediction, and just kind of give my personal thoughts and opinions on where Lisk is going to go into the future, and not hype anything up that is unnecessary. And that's something I always like to do on my channel. I always like to be as objective as possible and as realistic as possible, even though I am invested into Lisk. So take that for what you will, guys. It's not investment or financial advice. It's just simply my personal opinion. Please do your own research before investing. Invest at your own risk. Don't invest more than you can afford to lose, and consult a financial advisor if necessary. So again, take my opinion, take my videos with a grain of salt, get a ton of perspectives, and do a ton of research before you guys make any investment decisions. That's not investment or financial advice. I do want to lay that out there, as that is a huge theme on my channel that I really want to get across to you guys. So with that said, to be fully transparent, I am invested in a Lisk, as I have said probably 1,500 times in this video. I do hold it, so take that for what you will, guys, and transparency purposes in regards to that. But I'll stop rambling. Thanks guys for watching the video. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button, and have a great day.